So now in order to actually go ahead and save these links in our database, let's go ahead and create a model. So first of all, I'll go ahead and stop the server. Then we can actually go to the models.py file, and in here I can just go ahead and start creating the model to save our links. So let's go ahead and type in class, and let's say we want to name this model as link because we are storing the link related information. So in this particular model, this is going to inherit from models.model, and in there let's create only two fields. So let's say we want two fields, which is nothing but the address, which is the address of a specific link. So let's type in models.car field, and let's set the max length to, let's say, 1000, and let's set the null value equals true, which means that the value of this particular field can be null. And the reason why we are setting this null equals true and blank equals true is because whenever we are crawling the web page for certain links might not have a proper address, and that's why in order to avoid any errors we have to actually mention null and blank as true for this field over here. And the same goes with the name field as well. So now we'll go ahead and create the name field up over here, and the same rules apply for this field as well. That is, you set the max length equals 1000, and now you also set the null and blank equals true. And once we have that, let's go ahead, save the code, and also let's have a string representation of this particular thing. So I'll say def str self, and then we want to return self dot name. And the reason why we have this is because whenever you actually refer to this object, you actually get the name of the link instead of getting just the object of link. So now once we go ahead and create this model, we need to make migrations. So I'll type in python 3 manage.py make migrations, and then python 3 manage.py migrate. So as you can see, the migrations have been applied, and now we need to go inside our view and we need to make sure that these links which the view actually crawls, it needs to save all those links up into our model. So how exactly can we go ahead and save those links inside our model? So right now we are only extracting the link address using link.get. So now instead of appending this to this specific list, you can actually go ahead, get rid of that, and instead store it into something which is called as link address. So also make sure that you get rid of this list right here, and you can say something like link underscore address equals link.get href, and then you can type in link underscore text. In order to get the text from that specific link, you can type in link.string. And now once we have these two values, we can now go ahead and create an object out of these two values using our model. So first of all, you need to import this model. So you need to type in from models import, and the name of our model is link. And now in order to create the object of that particular model, you need to type in link.objects.create, and this will actually create the objects for you. And in here you just need to pass in the parameters. So you need to pass in the parameters, which is nothing but address and name. So here the address is going to be nothing but link underscore address, and then the next parameter is the name. So you need to type in name equals, that's going to be nothing but link underscore text. So now this will actually go ahead, create the objects for you, and it will save it into your database. So now once you go ahead and save those objects, you are now good to go. But now the only thing which you need to take care of is that as now you have actually removed this link address right over here, you actually need to go ahead and you need to pass in some context in here. So you need to actually now go ahead and extract the data from the database even before you actually pass it over here. So let's go ahead and do that as well. So let's go out of this for loop and type in data to get the data, and make use of the same model, which is link, and get all the objects from that particular link object. So you need to type in link dot objects dot all. So you got all the objects from the link table, and now you can pass in this specific data over here as the context. So you need to type in data over here and also pass in data over here as well. Now this data, or now this particular object, now has two things saved in it. So we not only have just the link address, but we also have the link text as well. So now once we have these two things, we also need to go ahead and now make modifications over here as well. So now instead of having link in link address, I can now go ahead and type in for link in data. And now instead of just typing in link, you can now go ahead and access these two parameters, which is the address and name. So let's say you type in link dot name, and right in front of it, let's go ahead and also extract the address as well. So I can type in link dot address. So this will now print both the name and address of each link on our template. So let's go ahead and see if this thing works out. So I'll just go ahead and let's try to visit the web page for google.com itself. So I'll go ahead, let me change this thing to google.com, and now if I save the code and hit refresh, first of all I need to start the server. So python 3 manage.py run server, and we do have an error over here which says no module name models. And that's because if you actually go to the views, this should actually be from dot models, and once we fix that, the server should be up and running. And now let's go ahead, hit refresh, and as you can see, now we have all the links and we have them in a specific format. Like we have the link name first, then we have this arrow, and then we have the link address, and we have this format for each one of the items over here. Now let's see if we actually have these things saved in the backend. So in order to check that, let's create a super user. So I'll simply go ahead and type in python 3 manage.py create super user. I'll leave it to my current thing. I'll add in some dummy email, let's say demo@gmail.com. let's see, the password is super user, and then let's just go ahead, run the server, go back over here, go to admin, just log in. And now we don't have the model over here because we need to register that in the admin.py file. So I'll type in from .models import link, and now let's register this model over here. So I'll say admin.site.register, and then just pass in a link over here. So now if I save that, and now if I go over here, hit refresh, if I go to links, as you can see, now we have all these links saved over here. So now if I go to privacy, as you can see, we have the link for the privacy and the name of that link as well, and we have names of all these links and the links actually stored in there. So now once we have stored all these links in the backend, now in the upcoming lecture, let's actually go ahead and style this web page in a much more better way so that these links are displayed in a proper tabular format. And after doing that, we'll actually add a input field over here which will allow the user to actually enter the URL which he wants to scrape. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.